Before I even start today, I'd just like to say a huge thank you for the amount of support we received on the last video about Mike's venture over there. Yeah, it's been really exciting to see all your comments and everything. So yeah, we'll go and have a little check up on him later on and see how he's getting on, and just see if there's been any progress at all and if he's made any discoveries. But first of all, we are going to go and finally lift the garlic. So we've actually got 3 beds of garlic. It makes it sound really grand, but yeah, this one is really, it's just Rust City. So yeah, that's coming up. You know, even since last week, that has really come on quite badly. So I'm going to pull them up, because once they've got rust, they're still okay to eat, but they're not going to store as long. I've got a bed over there. I can't remember what the names are. I think I've got some Garcia garlic down there, but I'm going to take them all up. This one's the worst, then that one, and then the Garcia garlic look okay. I don't know if you can pick up next to them, but I've got the very tall garlic here. That's the elephant garlic. I'm going to leave that for a little bit longer. It's funny, you know, that has got absolutely no sign of rust whatsoever, but you know, surely it's around the corner. So I'm going to get these up and we'll see what we've got. Here we go, little trusty trug. I'm hoping, you know, even though the rust on these looks awful on the top, it's going to be a lovely surprise underneath, but I'm not holding out much hope. It's like potatoes, you don't know what's underneath. Oh, you know, okay, I wish I knew what it was. Me and labels, eh? Okay, there's no rot or anything on it. It's only small. Bless it. But that's a doable size. That's okay, right. That's in the truck. Okay, so now I know there is actually a bulb under there, because from the top, it don't look good at all, does it? Okay, yeah. You can see though that once they've got rust again, they're not going to grow that much more. They've pretty much finished growing their onions. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, this doesn't look too good. Oh, that's Mr. Diddy. And that actually, you see that? In fact, is that even split? Yeah, it's split. Okay, it's going in the truck. There's not very many of these actually. Okay, this one's 2 next to each other, so let's have a look. Always be careful when you dig them up. Look at these are tiny. Always be careful when you dig them up. Try not to just pull them up by the stem, because that will, if it damages the stems, again, you're damaging their storage time. Let's see what this one's not too bad. Considering the size of the stem, that's about the size of a sprout. It's a new garlic I've invented. It's called garlic sprout. Oh, speaking about new garlic things, let's just get this up and I'll tell you in a minute. There's a lovely, okay, not bad. There's a lovely new variety of leek out, and it's called, oh dear, it's not called oh dear, it's called a garlic. And the lovely Robin from Robin Gardens sent me the seed. Oh, I must apologise, Robin, it's about a couple of months ago now, and I was supposed to sow it there and then, and I didn't. But apparently it's a leek. Surprise, surprise. It tastes like garlic, so it's called a garlic. So you know what? I've got enough for this year and next year, so I'm going to sow some this year anyway and see what we've got. These aren't too bad. I'm hoping all the rest is going to be better than this, but you know what? It's awful, isn't it? Oh, just humour me, humour me. Right, okay, going in for this last one, and then that's the rusty one's gone. Oh, that's not too bad. It's funny how they're all so different. They're all planted at exactly the same time. But actually, if I wipe the mud off that, there's no damage to it. Just needs drying out. Oh, crikey, it'll shrink even more when it dries out, won't it? But you know, It's okay. Right, let's go over to the next bed and hope for better things. The wrong trug for purpose. You'd have thought all different trugs had different purposes. Good things. I think I'd know, I've got that many of them. Right, okay. The last ones I have just dug up, yes, they're quite small, but you know what? I am reasonably happy with those. Let's move them over. Come on, let's make them look like they're a bit more. There's no white rot that I can see. There's a little bit of browning on the bulbs, but I think that'll just come off. So there's, oh, and there's Mr. No Stalk. Okay, well, we've got those. Moving forward. So that was one sort. That was obviously just one bulb went in there. Is that another little one? Yeah, they're not great, are they? But then these ones, I'm wondering if these are Cadors. Now, Danny, if you're watching from the Grapevine Garden, Danny and I both brought Cador garlic at the Malvern show last year. Might be the year before, and saved some cloves. So, I mean, look at that one. Just goes to show, you know, same blooming garlic, same conditions, and look how nice that one is. That's going to be on the picture. These ones, yeah. And then these funny old rusty ones at the end here. But actually, considering I wasn't, or considering last year we had a terrible garlic harvest, I'm actually quite pleased with these. I'm going to let them dry a little bit before I clean them up. What you do not want to do, and it's so tempting because they look so nice, is peel off the outer layers. Now, I am going to be, let's be honest, I'm going to peel some of the outer layers off, but not too many, because what you leave on, as with onions, is what forms part of the protective skin. I'd like to say there's always one. There's more than one here. But yeah, that's not a bad harvest, is it? It's not brilliant. But I think once we add in the elephant garlic in probably another week, it depends how it goes on with the rust. If it suddenly starts getting really rusty, then I'll dig it up. But certainly the next week or two, I think once we add that into the mix, it's not too bad a harvest, is it? Okay, while I'm here, I just thought I would harvest the last, I say harvest, there's not much on these leeks at all, they've completely gone. But there might be something on there. I mean, look at that. That's just split completely, but take that off. There's something edible underneath. Anything that looks like it's not going to last too long will just get chopped and put in the freezer pretty quick. But yeah, I just thought while I was doing this, I'd just give you a quick update on what's been going on this week, because it's been a fairly hectic week. Okay, some of you might know I visited the Gardener's World live show in Birmingham last week, and it was just lovely. It's a show I go to all the time because it's just down the road, but it's what made it really special this time round was meeting up once again, like we did at Malvern, with some fellow YouTubers, and it was just really lovely to be able to you know, have a little chat to them and just talk to some like-minded people before we wandered around. There is a little bit of a video of that over on Patreon, but that was followed by Wednesday. I was really privileged to be invited to the Garden Media Guild meetup at Goldston Hall Gardens in Shropshire, where they've just got not only beautiful borders, but they've got a kitchen garden that supplies the food to the restaurant of the hotel. And one of the things that the head gardener said to us was that the kitchen and the garden were so responsive to each other. They were mutually responsive, and I just thought that was a great way to think about growing. We've actually served an absolutely delicious lunch with a lot of produce from the garden, including daylilies. Who'd have thought you could eat a daylily, but there you go. And then yesterday, a strange occurrence whereby I heard a strange old cheeping in the kitchen, and there was a little duckling, a stray, can you say a stray duckling? A tiny duckling, in fact it looked like a hatchling running around our kitchen. I had to pick it up because Rocky was around, so I couldn't just sort of usher it out into the garden on its own. But it did have what looked like a little bit of white on its head and on its beak, so I'm wondering if it was just out of the egg. So yeah, strange old week. So there we've got the last of the leeks for this season, shall we say. So I'm going to take them over to the garlic and we'll have a little look. So there we have it. Garlic harvest 2024 with a few leeks at the end. Now they don't look as much as they did before because I've given them a good old top and tail, and what's good about that is it gives you a chance to look up close and see if there's any damage, and I'm really thrilled to say there's no sign at all of the dreaded allium leaf miner, so yeah, pleased with them. Okay, here we go. And if we follow the sound of the strimmer, somewhere on the other side of it, there'll be Mike. Okay, so it's obviously behind the shed, but you can see from here straight away just how much it's changed from last time, just because it's been strimmed. It was strimmed last weekend, and you can see already the grass is really, really dying back. So yeah, let's catch up with him and see what he's discovered. Okay, one of the things Mike said he has discovered through strimming is the whole length of the plot. I don't know if you can pick it up here, it's in the shadow. There's a slabbed path. So, yeah. But I think from the sound of it, he's down there. So Mike, what have you been doing?
I've been doing a lot of strimming. I've been doing an awful lot of strimming.
You can see from the front, just walking through, how much it's gone down. You know, it looks so much better.
Yeah, so it was all about ground cover, sorry, ground clearance to start with. So the nettles, if you might remember up here, they were so big that we found whole raised beds. We've cleared this whole old hen house here, and this one over here was just...
You found another one?
I hadn't even seen this one.
Yeah, that's completely covered.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It feels okay, you know.
Yeah.
Feels like it could be, I don't know, could be usable.
I mean, we might bring the girls down here for little holidays now and then, mightn't we, to just have a little peck around.
Our daughters?
Not
Don't see them coming to help us.
The feathery
too
girls,
much.
Mike, the feathery girls.
Yeah, so we've found an apple tree, and there's another apple tree just out the back here.
Okay, so let's get our bearings here. We're behind the shed. These are the 2 cages that were used, I think, as a duck run. And yeah, you've strimmed these down, so it's been strimmed. These 2 areas have been strimmed. How big is each of these, do you think?
I mean, I think this is about 30 foot by 50 foot. It's big.
It's probably about the same size as our old allotment, isn't it?
It's a decent space. I mean,
but then, if you look round here, I mean, it looks like this is the end of the allotment, doesn't it? But what's behind here?
Well, it's another whole great big pathway which is completely overgrown with nettles.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pathway that's just completely overgrown with nettles, and then there's a funny little arrangement between us and our neighbours, because the chap who had this before us had both plots.
That's right. Yeah.
And so in here, actually, in this last little bit here behind that tree, is an old duck pond which is completely overgrown. I mean, it's going to take me quite a while, I think, to get to that duck pond.
But that's about another 15 foot, isn't it, deep? So
yeah. So I mean, for the last, I've spent about probably a day in total actually strimming, and then kind of coming back, if you like, and just chopping the grass again. We've got a lot of hay. If anybody's got any guinea pigs, we're the people to help you. We're very, very hay rich, so we'll have to think of a way to store that, because we're going to compost a lot of it in some big compost bins that we have, and then we're going to start thinking about how to suppress the grass and the weeds and everything in this area, nettles. And then the next stage will probably be maybe thinking about some raised beds, some big raised beds at the top end. That's my plan.
Any regrets?
Have I got any regrets? No, because it gets easier, doesn't it? It does get easier.
Does it get easier, Mike?
It does get easier.
So what could people do to support you, Mike?
They could smash the like button, subscribe. They could support your Patreon page, where any funds which are donated would go directly to the allotment. So it would probably help us to buy some compost bays or the materials for that, and the green waste compost that we're going to need, because we're going to need a lot of green waste compost. So it'll be very, very helpful in that regard.
Yeah. So anyway, looking good. We're having to duck down now because the camera's at a strange angle and I haven't got my tripod. But if you want to support Mike or myself over on Patreon, or however you want to do it, please go and visit. The links are all below. Bye for now.